talk to him?
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, it's scared, but you're so...
Life is passing by so fast. Say goodbye.
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Welcome to Style with Trish. I'm your host, gospel recording artist Trish Standley, and it is wonderful to have my guest that's going to hang out with me on today. I kind of hinted last week that we're going to be talking about some really delicate issues in the next couple of weeks. Last week we talked about self-love. The previous week we talked about self-love again and the importance of that, because you guys know that the journey here on Style with Trish is that we become the wholeness and the wellness and just beautiful everyday women that we can. I have hanging out with me today none other than Lori McGrone. I knew I was going to mess it up. And gospel artist, minister, what else? Prayer warrior, author, Marlo Moore. Y'all know her. Y'all familiar with her. But they're going to be hanging out with me on today. We have an amazing show lined up for you. Please, please, please make sure if you have the 108 Praise, if you do not have the 108 Praise radio app, make sure you download it, or feel free to join us here on Facebook Live. And if you have any questions, any comments, we're going to be locked in, guys. So make sure you ask your questions. If you don't want to call in, ask your questions on Facebook, and I will relay them to the ladies. Of course, we have What's Happening with San coming up a little later. She has an announcement to make, so her segment is going to be really short because I want to spend all of my time with these ladies. Ladies. Y'all ready?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
We're talking about, it's so funny. I want to hear you guys' story first. But the amazing thing about social media is that you kind of can feel, now I take social media serious. I know people say it's a whole bunch of hogwash or whatever on there, but I really do take it serious. And I think people's level of truth is said in social media. So I remember when your son is how old, Marlo?
He's 21.
He's 21?
Already.
Oh my God! So that was a couple of years ago. Okay. I thought our kids were closer in age. I know your baby just graduated last year from high school. She's completed her.
She's a sophomore.
Oh my Lord, where's time going? I'm so lost.
It's flying. It's already March.
Wow. Okay. So I saw when your baby went off to school. I saw when your baby went off to school, and it wasn't like anything that you posted that was horrible or whatever. But I just could sense something behind it. And so when my baby went off to school, I hit Marlo up and I was like, is this normal? I'm feeling some kind of way. Is this normal? And she replied to me, she said, yes, it is. And so I had a couple of friends. So I've been very vocal and very upfront with the struggle. Yeah. And so people have been reaching out to me. And I said, well, let's do a panel somewhat so that we can kind of forewarn people about this, because this is really something serious, but nobody talks about it. So I'm going to start with you, Marlo. Share with us your empty nest story, and just not everything, but just the details of when your baby left, how you felt the first night, and we'll stop there because then we'll go in a little deeper.
Yeah. The first time that my husband and I, my son OJ, he went to Savannah State. Mm-hmm. And when the very first night, I was up, I cried. My husband kind of looked at me. He was more excited than I was. But yeah, I went through depression. I went through a really bad state of depression.
So did you go with him to drop him off at school? Mm-hmm. You did? And how was it how was the drive? How was the goodbye, and how was, because it's a little different because he's a male child too. So
He was much tougher than I was.
Okay.
So, OJ was ready. Mommy was not. Daddy was ready. The drive home, I was just trying to keep it together. Like I was trying to fake it like, yeah, we're going to be able to date. And da-da-da-da. And on the inside of me, I was like, what did I do? Because it's 4 hours away.
Yeah.
And some people are like 12 hours away, whatever. That was rough.
Yeah. Lori, tell me about your story. You have a girl child.
I do.
And we'll talk about, I think there's a difference when there is a boy child and a girl child in just in the experience for me, oddly enough. I think I probably would have been terrified with my son if I had a son. I was terrified with my daughter too, but just for different reasons, but we'll dig into that a little later. But you have a daughter, and what was it like parting with your baby girl?
I was terrified. I was so terrified. I think it was because for she and I, it was only us.
Yeah.
And so because it was just us for so long, I knew where she had her strengths and I knew where she had her weaknesses. And so dropping her off at school, I was talking to her like we were having powwow talks and real life situations. And it was...
You trying to get everything in.
Don't talk to strangers. You got to stay in the room. You want to be in the room, and I want to FaceTime you, show me, everything. So when I dropped her off, it was me and my brother.
Okay.
And we had like a support system and her godparents.
Okay.
Dropped her off at college. And so when we were leaving, her godparents stayed behind, which made me at ease because I'm like, okay. I know we went there, we helped put a room together. We made sure that she had her snacks, because she went to school. Yes, this was a real situation.
Yes, snacks.
Because you're not across town,
right?
You're in a completely different state.
Right.
So we have to make sure that her refrigerator was stocked. She had everything that she needed at Walmart. We actually did a Walmart run. We did all of it. It was a trip. And so when we left, her godparents stayed behind. And so we were outside and she was saying her goodbyes and all of that stuff. I was strong.
Okay.
Wow.
My brother, not so much. And he broke down crying. And I was like, well, wait. Because you were supposed to be helping me.
Right.
And so when he got in the car, he was just like, oh my God. And I was looking at him and it hit me. When I saw her in the rearview mirror, and we were driving away from her.
Yes.
And I said, you know what, God? This is too much for me. I looked at my brother, I said, I'm just going to go to sleep. And I went to sleep and slept until we were out of the state of Kentucky. Because
she went to Kentucky. So that was another part you left out.
Listen, my daughter went to Kentucky.
Yes.
How far is that?
It's like 5.5, 6 hours.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I can just get on the road and just go. And I told her, I said, you sure you want to do this? Because I can't just get in the car and come to you. So you might really want to consider what it is you're doing.
Right.
Going away. And so the next day we get home and everything, and I'm in this quiet house, and I'm ready to be like, Simone. Oh,
yeah.
She's not here. And do you know that child called me the next morning in almost full-blown tears, talking about I didn't know where I was. I said, ma'am, get off my phone. I need you to go pray.
Yeah,
the same thing.
Yeah,
because you're not gonna call me crying when you could have been down the street at Spelman.
Right.
Where I could have just came and picked you up.
Right.
And so that was a big transition. I said when she hung up the phone, I said, you know what, God, you're gonna really have to catch me and her. But she didn't know I was going through
right
like I was because I'm mommy.
Right.
I can't be crying on the phone with you. Who gonna be strong for who? We can't even lean on each other at this point. You're in Kentucky.
Right.
So yeah, it was pretty traumatic.
Yeah, it was. That sounds really familiar to my story. They keep you so busy their senior year. You got the senior prom. You got all kind of stuff that you're getting, and then you got the list that you got to have. First of all, we're going to start with prom. All the SATs, ACTs. You have all of this stuff that you're trying to get done, and then college applications, and then once they get in the application here, if you're here in the state of Georgia, you get they're eligible for the Hope Scholarship, so that's more paperwork. You have all of this stuff that you're having to stay on, and that's keeping you extremely busy. I was thinking, okay, well, because I'm more engaged in this, and her dad was more hands off. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm preparing. I'm getting myself ready. I'm ready. He's gonna be the one to break down. I just knew it because people kept saying, well, how is Ed doing? I said, he didn't detach, child. He gonna have a problem when she leaves. So that was my expectation. So the morning we were getting ready to go, she has a cat that she loves. She's a cat lover. So I was in my room getting dressed. I think he was in and out loading up the truck, and all of a sudden I heard a wailing, and it was her. And so I was like, oh my God. So I ran back in my room, in my closet, and I was just, I was bawling.
You didn't go to her?
No, I couldn't. So, but Ed got her, and he consoled her, and I heard him take her in the bathroom, and so then he comes around looking for me, and I'm in the closet. He was like, both of y'all. He was like, so once I got myself together, I came on out and met her, and then I consoled her because I had gotten my cry out. And she was still whimpering a little bit. So the whole ride there, she's not far. She's maybe 2 hours away. So she's not far.
And that's good.
What?
Trish.
So, but and
I don't blame her.
she's my only. So, and it was, she's so attached. She's an introvert. And she's so attached. And so that was my concern. When you were talking about all of the areas of weaknesses and stuff like that, I'm like, my kid is not real sociable. She's gone to private school her whole life, and the kid she started with, she ended with, so that doesn't help in their social skills. And she's introverted. So that was my worry. So when we took her, we got her, you're still busy, like you said, doing the Walmart runs, getting the room decorated and all of that. So then when we got ready to leave, she started crying again. I had tears coming down, but I didn't let it out. So then she walks back up to her dorm, and like you said, that rear view mirror shot.
Jesus, ain't it something?
It was just
People, you drop your children off.
Don't look
school.
back.
Don't look in the rearview mirror.
Don't do
is
it.
The devil.
And then, with our daughter Brittany is very small.
Yes.
So my baby is tiny.
Did you have the same feeling with her?
Let me tell you, I was
Okay.
just letting her know. Because OJ was still at home.
Right.
It was weird.
Okay.
I was used to just having my husband and my son, our little, our little
unit.
world,
Yeah.
When she left, I felt some kind of way. I was like, I'm the only girl left in the house. I have no help. And, I just had to go through all, but it wasn't anything like when it was nobody left. Because when it was just, when it was just OJ, and then when he left, I was messed up. I seriously needed some counseling.
Yeah.
And I think it's the boy, mama, daddy, girl.
Yeah.
It's different. You seem to be really strong because that's that girl. But if you had a boy.
And that's where I think
No, I don't know, because my daughter was my best friend.
Yeah.
So everybody, and when you saw her,
You saw her.
You saw me.
Yes, yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and it's really weird now because people ask me, "Am I a mom?" And I'm thinking, like, "Are you kidding me?"
Absolutely, I
I'm
am.
a whole mother, and I have the receipt. I have the receipt. So she was really like my best friend, and we would laugh and talk and giggle, and I would be in the house, and I'm like, you know what? She funnier than what I thought. Like, this house is really
Weird.
quiet.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much I leaned on her until she's gone. It's funny to say a parent leaning on a child, but
Oh, no.
it's for the child to lean on the parent. But
Yeah.
she was really my best friend. And I said, this girl has left me in Atlanta. By myself. She has packed her bags and is gone.
And and that was the thing for me. Our whole ride home in the car was, for the first 30 minutes, we didn't say anything.
No, ma'am.
It was no words. And I knew I was crying. I wasn't even trying to fake it, but I didn't go into a wail. I never went into a wail like I thought I would. It was just and it felt like when I looked in the rearview mirror and I saw her back there and she was tearing up. And I could tell she was crying. That made it harder for me. It felt like my heart was gonna explode.
Yeah.
I felt it was physical for me.
Yes.
And I was like, and that's when I hit Marlo up, I think the next day, is this normal? I mean, Or is it just me? Am I
No,
crazy? Because
baby,
I've
you
never
are
heard
not
anybody
crazy.
talk about it before.
It's the unwinding of being a hands-on parent.
Yes.
We're so engulfed with their lives, and it's like you lose almost you because you're now mom, and it's so, I would have to say, traumatic.
Yeah.
To have them here one day and then know that they are somewhere completely different. And if something happened, I can't just get to them and help them or just hug them, because I found myself in the house being like, Simone, this girl is
she
not
gone.
here.
Yeah.
And so, and I would have to tell myself, I would have to like kind of laugh it out, like, this girl is not here today.
Yeah.
And to make myself not cry from her absence, because it's almost
So you
like,
never cried?
absolutely,
Okay.
I did.
Because
Absolutely.
we know you tough now. I'm like,
No, why do everybody think that? Everybody says that.
But you are you appear to be a lot tougher.
Yeah.
I'm a wimp, and I be the first one. I am.
The strong ones cry harder.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't cry a lot because
Yes.
see, that's the thing. I was a single mom, so I had to
Right.
become the disciplinarian.
You had to be the
I
strong-
had to protect
yeah,
her.
yeah, I get it.
Also had to be the soft. I had to do everything.
Yeah.
So instead of crying, I had to say, no, you can't cry now. It's time to do.
Yeah.
So when you're unarmed with having to do, now you're put into this arena and ring of, now what do I do with all these emotions? Because now I don't have to be strong for her because she's not here. All I have to do is deal with me.
Right.
And so now you're in this place of where and how do I take care of me? Because you're so busy taking care of other people where you
Right.
lose yourself. You don't even know what it is, how to console yourself.
Right.
What it is you like, what makes you feel better. And so I was thrown into that thing. And so I had to learn a whole new Lori.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. Marlo, for you, when OJ left, what was the thing that you had to say? Because I had to talk to myself. I don't know about y'all. I had to talk to myself because I was thinking, I'm sending this child off. And all kind of stuff floods your head. And I'm like, did I tell her everything? Did we discuss everything? Did we go over every case scenario? I would talk to her about, don't put your water bottle down. And if it's unattended and you don't know that lead is gone, you get you another one. You know, you're trying to get everything into that. For you, Marlo, what do you tell your son? I know what we tell our daughters, but what do you tell your son? I have to leave this side note, and I know we're probably going to get a lot of feedback on this one, but I was told by someone, a friend, that I should put my daughter on birth control.
Okay.
I'm so glad you went there,
That's what I was told.
because you know I was getting ready to walk right into it. Right?
So,
Yeah.
what do you tell your son?
He went to Savannah State with half a trash bag of condoms. And I'm Evangelist Moore, by the way. Y'all know me. But you have to be a realist.
Right.
My son is fine. My daughter is gorgeous. And for her, I used to tell her in high school all the time, I'm a young mama.
Yeah.
I don't take care of babies.
I know that's
outside
right.
of y'all.
That's right.
So if you want them, it ain't gonna be like, Mommy, help me. No. So that was the best birth control for them. For him, I told him, I said, look, you're a nice looking man. I said, you have no excuse. I said, and then going in bareback, you might fall off. So if I were you, I would just go ahead and take this little, a friend of mine, she donated, to the cause and say, hey, I work around healthcare and here, a package for OJ, and I hope you don't get offended. I said, girl, I ain't gonna get offended. I thank you because you're looking out for me because it's real.
Yeah.
And so we have Cosby kids, and they have been sheltered. They have been in good areas.
Yes, they are.
They're not street kids.
Yeah.
And so I had to basically have that street talk to him. I grew up hood.
You're right.
My babies didn't.
Right.
And so I had to have that talk with him and say, listen, spirits.
Oh, yeah.
You can have all these multiple partners. I said, though, I've taught you about the sexually transmitted disease. There are spiritually transmitted diseases. And I said, you mess around and you start acting weird and having all these, because you done had her,
That's right.
her, and some men think that's cute. Well, it's a whole bunch of men that think that's cute to
Right.
have multiple partners.
Right.
But, hoism is hoism, whether
Right.
it's a female or a male. So that was my biggest concern is because he is sheltered. And she was sheltered. And I just said, y'all got to be careful. Stuff is just rampant out there. And, be careful of your surroundings, like you were talking about with your daughter with the water bottle. I told him, I said, people are jealous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you got a
And it
lot
ain't
going-
always the opposite sex. Sometimes it's the same sex.
It is.
Thank you.
We
Yeah.
had that problem
Yeah.
with
Oh,
school,
see? Okay.
with the girls being really jealous. I thought that my daughter was more of a quiet type. Apparently. She is a social butterfly. and they love her on campus. And so we had a situation where the
This has been
girls-
since you've been in college.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We had a situation where the girls were actually jealous of her and ran in her room on her, wanting to fight her. And I said, well, wait. Now, Simone, your mother grew up in the hood. You grew up in the suburbs.
Right.
Your mother,
I'm not too quick to.
I'm a little Peterish. I fight.
Girl,
Put the
that's
hair in
me.
a ponytail with the Vaseline on the face.
We ain't gonna have time for Vaseline. Run up on my daughter. Now, that's what we're not gonna do.
Right.
We're not gonna do that. And so for me, that was I had to learn how to step back and see how she would handle certain situations, because if you always run to the rescue of your children when you're not there, they're not gonna have the
tools.
to be able to take care of themselves. And that's when you find that these children, when their parents pass away or something happens to them, their world shut down because the parents didn't back up and say, hey, let them
Figure it out.
with the tools I already gave them. I want to know and matter of fact, I want to know where you fall and fail so that
You can
I
direct.
can come in later and say, hey, this is where you missed it. And so let me give you these tools. And so if this ever arises again, this is how you handle that. But I stepped back and I wanted to see how she would handle, because I was on fire.
Yeah.
I wanted to just jump in the car
Yeah.
and just ride out
Get
to my
there.
ratchet music until I got there and just pop some people's children. But I couldn't do that. So my daughter actually handled it very well, and I was like, wow. And I'm so glad that I didn't just jump in all of a sudden and just take over, because I found out that my daughter does have problem solving skills. She does know how to take care of herself, and if you push her a little bit too far, then she turns into me a little bit. And I thought that was kind of attractive.
Don't you love it? Don't you love it?
She is feisty, and I loved seeing that part of her.
Right.
Because before, she would want me to speak up for her all the time, but I said, "Oh, you're not gonna ruffle her feathers." It came out, and she was like,
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
that is, I
And see,
love
I'm
that."
still waiting on that with my baby. I'm still waiting on it. She's getting better. But I have bite to me, and my husband definitely got bite to him, and so I'm like, when is that gonna show up in her? It hasn't. It's starting to show, but she's more like my mother. My mother is the type that you don't know you've been told off until you was like, wait a minute.
About 12 o'clock night, you be laying up in the bed thinking about that thing.
So she's more like, that's more of her approach. And so she is starting to speak up for herself. She is now, her roommate is really introverted. The only time she comes out the dorm is going to class, going to the bathroom, and going to the cafeteria. She does nothing. And so I'm constantly pushing my daughter because I know she's introverted. I made her have a roommate, and I made her have a community bathroom.
Oh,
No, Mom.
well,
It's if I did not, I know my child.
now wait a minute.
I made her do it, and she was like, "Mommy, girls are so nasty." I said, This is
Yes.
why I taught you the way I taught you." So it enabled me to really give examples of why I was so hard on her in certain areas, and I promised her no more community bathrooms, but I wanted her to have the full college experience. We had to do community bathrooms when I was in college, so you need to have that. You need to know why you should appreciate home, because you always had your own room, always had your own
Now,
bathroom.
that's good.
And then I didn't want to put stipulations. I didn't want to put her in private situation. So I didn't want her to go to HBCU. I didn't want her going to the all-girls school. I wanted her to have a real-world experience.
Yeah.
And so she's finding that, oh my God, Mom, I met this lady, she's Vietnamese, and we were really cool. We have a lot in common, and so when all her world has been us, she hadn't really been exposed to a lot of different nationalities. So this has been just a wide open thing for my child, because she didn't go to school with different nationalities. So that was why I made the decision I made with her. But next year she's getting more and more independent. So as the years go on, is OJ a senior?
No, ma'am. We took a break.
Oh, did he? Okay. So even in that, how do you handle that? I took a break too. Mm-hmm.
The break that he took was good for us. It was good for him. Mm-hmm. It was a very hard decision. He was very scared to tell us that I'm just not cut out at the moment.
Okay.
And to me, when you are mature enough to give me that and say, hey, y'all wasting your money right now. Let me just pull back
and
work
figure
a
it
little
out.
Bit, figure it out. See, he said, I'm definitely going back, Mom.
Yeah.
He said, but right now, I just need to get it together. And he said, and he was in an HBCU.
Okay. Yeah.
And oh God, girl 101, partying 101.
Yes,
you
honey.
name it. Mm-hmm. And so, the pressure. And I didn't go to college. I went to the military.
Right.
Okay.
And being the baby of 10, my mama said, 18 is your magic number. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking I'm the youngest, right? Mm-hmm. I get a break. She was like, We graduated in June. Mm-hmm. In January, she came and talked to me and said, hey, what's your plan? I'm, kind of offended. I'm like, Mom, it's me. I'm the baby. Now, my daddy was holding on for dear life.
Right.
My daddy was vexed, honey. That thing was sick. And she said, let me take college off the board, because you ain't going to school. You don't like to go to high school. So you got a job, get out my house.
Yeah.
Or you can go to the military. And I was like, what?
So you had never considered the military?
No. But some friends of mine, they were going in on a buddy program, and we grew up from young, very like 5 and birth. Mm-hmm. And so they were going in, and they were like, hey, let's just go in together. And so I put the idea, because at 17, you couldn't go in by yourself. Your parents had to sign you in. Right. My daddy wouldn't sign it, nothing. He said, your mom's going to have to do that. I can't do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be able to do that.
And I think that's a big responsibility to put on children that age at a high dollar sign, because it's not cheap for these kids to go to college, and then you expect 17, 18-year-olds to know and decide what they want to study that's going to last them the rest of their life.
Thank you.
So I think it's a lot of pressure. Some kids automatically know. They almost come here knowing. But then you have some children who need to figure it out. Okay, well, I tried college. I don't know. I'm not sure. I might want to consider a trade. Or, well, no, I don't really want to do that. They're trying. They're at an age, I believe, where they're trying to figure it out. You won't allow them to drink until they're 21. But you expect them to make a lifelong decision at 17, 18, and 19. I know you got something to say.
No,
she's smacking her jaw.
She's positioning. Look, she's like this. Wait for it. Come on.
Well, my view is this. I'm the youngest of 17.
Oh, Lord.
Children, the baby. And, growing up, it was always, your parents will hold on to you so tightly, where when the children got out, they lost their minds and did whatever. I parent completely different.
Yeah, me too.
My view is this. I would rather my daughter have a drink at home than to have her first drink on somebody's college campus, and now you passed out on the grass because you didn't know when was enough. I believe that if you do this in the confines of safety, you can find out that you don't like liquor before you leave this house, before somebody gives you a cup, a whole cup.
Right.
I'd rather give you a shot glass than a cup. I think that children should experience a lot more things while they're in the safety of their parents, so that when they do leave home, they already have a foundation as to where they're going to go and how the boundaries of where I'm going to stop. Because if they don't have these stronger foundations up, and they have to experience things, because you can't always tell a kid no, just no. Why no?
Because I said
That doesn't
No,
work.
it doesn't
Yeah.
work in 2019.
Because kids do what they see,
right.
and then they'll try
But they
whatever.
haven't.
That's the truth.
So, being that I was a young mom,
Right,
so
right.
we could laugh and talk and things. So the same dance that she was doing, I was doing the
Right.
same stuff. And guess what? When your girlfriends come over, I'm learning that dance with your girlfriends too. Because just because you won't tell me, she may,
Right.
because she has a better relationship and she don't want to talk to her mother because
Right.
her mother is not letting her do anything.
Right.
So she's gonna come to my house and I'm gonna fry some chicken and I'm gonna make her some greens.
You gonna
because
befriend her too.
I'm gonna love her real hard, because when she sits down at this table, I don't want her to just tell me about her. I
Yeah.
want her to tell me about the whole
Yeah.
lot of them.
Absolutely.
And I think that's wisdom
It is.
for you to not only don't let your kids just go everywhere, but actually invite other people in so you can have this view and scope
And
into your
see
child.
what, yeah, exactly.
And I want to know what kind of friends you attract.
Right.
I
right.
want to know all of that.
Right.
And so I think God gave me wisdom in that place. My mom was like that as well. So I'm not in the dark when something pops up and something in your life, and it's like, well, where did that come from?
Yeah.
No.
It's
I saw
always
that.
been there.
It's
I
always
saw
been there.
that.
I
just
saw
wanted to
that.
know when it was going to raise up,
Yes.
so I can deal with it. And a lot of times I was always kind of like, breaking her pieces, and she didn't know why are you saying this stuff? Because I see it, and just because I don't say it don't mean I didn't see it. And a lot of times I'll put a lot of stuff in my pocket for a later date, because when you're ready for this conversation, I'm gonna pull that out my pocket and say, oh yeah, I did see that. Now let's deal with that.
Yeah. And a lot of it does have to do with how engaged you are as a parent. And even if you miss the mark, early in years, I'm talking to those that are listening to us, even if you miss the mark later in years, it's not too late, to really get engaged with your children. I saw like 2 shows this weekend that just really, really threw me off. One was the young man that shot and killed the students on the campus. I want to say that was in California. And he claimed self-defense. You got to talk to your kids about that situation. And then it was another situation where 3 girls were best friends, BFFs, and the 2 started disliking the third, and so they went and killed her. And it's just like, so you have all of these stuff that's going on. Yes, we're covering our children in prayer. Yes, I know mine is covered. When I had the conversation with God on the way home after dropping her off, and I was emotional. I said, God, I'm not crying because I don't trust you. Yeah. Because I know even though we left, you're still there with her. So it's not that I don't trust that God has her covered. I know He has her covered. I'm more worried about, did I do everything I could do? Did I tell her everything I could tell her growing up? My mother, I was the youngest of, not quite so many, but I was the youngest of 6. Yeah. I was the youngest of 6. My 4 sisters and 2 foster kids. And my mama, I was the first one to leave and come this far. I came from Indiana.
Wow.
Like me.
And I came down
Kansas
here
City.
to go to, Midwesterns.
We're something special, baby.
Right.
We're something special.
And we're all babies. And so when I came down, my mom, and I asked my mom now, I said, was it hard? And she was like, yeah, it was hard. She said, you were my baby. You were going the furthest. And she would say the same thing. I can't get to you quick. I can't get to you quick. I sent my daughter off the same way my mother sent me off, without birth control. Wow. And that has been a tough choice that I made. But when I had the conversation with my child, I said, listen, we can do this. We can very easily go and get this and have this handled. And she said, well, mommy, she said, I really am not. She said, I've never even kissed anybody before. I've never had a boyfriend. She was like, so I just think that is just beyond me right now. And I said, well, whenever you're ready for that, have
Let's
the conversation. Because I don't want you to
Absolutely.
feel like that's a plague for me, and that's a topic that should be an issue for us to have, because I'm wide open for it. But I really need you to be honest. I said, because if you're not honest and you go out there and you do something and you're not protective, I said, first of all, baby is the least of your problems. There's other stuff, that will last the whole rest of your entire life.
Things that you can't even name.
You can't shake. You know what I mean? So I think it comes from the conversation that you have with your children and you knowing your children. Right. But I still kind of sort of shaking my boots because I allowed it to be her decision. I still kind of shaking my boots, but I'm like, Lord, even in that, you got it covered. And I opened up the door for conversation and said, okay, when you're ready to have that discussion, even if it start rising up in your mind, call mommy. Call mommy. So what has been? Let's talk about the academic part of college and sending our kids off. First of all, we know it's a lot entailed financially.
Yes.
You make a lot of sacrifices financially. But would you have done it any other way with either of your babies, sending them off to college? Why do you put it this way? Why do you feel it's important, even with all the struggles and the expenses that it takes to send our kids off? Why do you feel like it's so important for them to go away?
Well, I needed for Simone to go away because we were too connected. And I needed her to be able to live without me. I loved her with me, but I needed for her to go away for her and for me. As it pertains to college, Simone has a full scholarship. She's very smart. And so
awesome.
The financial part and piece of it,
wasn't a big issue.
It wasn't a big deal for me. My thing, it was making sure that she was making good decisions. Simone is, I have been blessed, and I don't know if every parent can say this, but I have been blessed with such a mature child. She is very sound and very stable, and she makes very wise decisions. She's always been very wise. And so for me, I'm not so worried about her so much getting into things. It was always other people, because she's very loving and trusting, but I also know that there's this part of her that's very wise. And so for me, I think that the most challenging thing about the leave and all of that was becoming, I'm not mommy anymore. And now we have to matriculate through becoming friends in the place where I don't tell you what to do. I give you advice.
That is such a tough transition.
It is a tough transition.
And it's an immediate transition, because
is.
let me tell you, when you go to that school, when India went to school, she hadn't even gone yet. And I called to find out who her dorm mate was going to be. Oh, they was like, oh, we cannot give you any information. And I'm like, what? I'm mama.
You can't even get access to their grades.
Yes.
Nothing.
Unless they share it with you.
Listen. And I said, Simone, you can put me. Trying to, you gonna do. And
Did
Simone
you do
said,
that girl like that?
I did. And you know what my daughter said? Well, mommy, she didn't.
She didn't.
She did not.
No, ma'am.
And I said, oh, she grown. But your bank account is connected to mine, so how grown are we?
And
Cash out.
And see, that was my thing. I'm like, they know how to contact us when it's time to pay their tuition, but I can't access her grades. And I didn't ask India for hers. She's always, even from high school, she's always shared her grades and all that. She's very driven, and it was funny because she was a little depressed her senior year. India's very anal when it comes to her grades. I mean,
I
she
love it,
is
though.
like a little extra for me. And so
She's extra.
she's extra when it comes to her grades. So she was a little upset because she didn't make National Honor Society in high school. And I said, well, India, I said, it's not going to mean nothing when you make honor roll once you become an adult, in high school. I said, I know that was your goal. I said, but make up for it in college. And my baby made Dean's List her first semester in college. Yes. And so sophomore, she's honor college. She's into the honors college. So
awesome.
it's you have to kind of sort of push them and keep them encouraged. And even if she, in the classes that she's called home crying, Mommy, now I have to add this, she has test anxiety. So that she's had always since she was in high school. So we have to do a lot of talking, a lot of coaxing, and they pray. You know God just like we know God. He hear you just like he hear us prior to tests. So in the areas of weakness, like you mentioned, we know what our kids' weaknesses are. We have to go from telling them now to advising. Well, I suggest, or
become the
I
advisor.
would do, and why don't you go see your dean? And that type of thing. Versus in high school, go to your principal and talk to your principal. Go talk to your counselor. It was something that they had to do. Well, now if I suggest it and she don't do it, I'm just like, oh my God, that power is gone. It's gone.
Yes.
It's scary. It's really scary. We're going to take a really quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more with none other than Marlo Moore and Lori McGrone. We're all talking about empty nesters. If you have any questions or any comments, make sure you put it in the 108 Praise Facebook feed, so we can answer your questions. We're going to check them real quick on this break and come back with answering questions or adding your feedback, because I know we got some feedback. We've been talking about some stuff. We're talking about giving our child alcohol and birth control, but that's real.
It's very real.
It's real. It's that kind of world. But guys, we'll be right back.
Work with cardiac patients. I like nursing because I feel like I'm making a difference in someone else's life. When a patient is admitted to the hospital, they are most likely very vulnerable. I want to be the person that hands out that helping hand, like those hands were handed out to me. When I was 20 years old, I was in a very abusive relationship, and I wanted to get out. It was just me and my daughter. I had nowhere to go, but I decided to leave anyway. Being homeless is like the most degrading thing ever. At times, I would sleep in a friend's car outside of her job at night. It was just one of the lowest times in my life. And that's when I met a lady at Goodwill.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you? She was like, you should come and take this assessment test. She was really, really nice. And honestly, I think that was the only reason why I took that test. She followed up with me. She was like, oh, you scored high on the test. You'll be great for the CNA program at the Goodwill office, which was the Certified Nurse Assistant program. One of the teachers at the Goodwill office always told me that, I should go further. So I took one class, anatomy, and I got an A. So I took a fuller load and I got all A's, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I can do this.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand it.
Because of all those A's, I got accepted into the nursing program. When I graduated nursing school, I started working at St. Mary's Hospital in Long Beach, and I've been there for the last 3 years. As humans, we're here to connect with people and help each other get to where they need to go, whether you're in the hospital bed and you need to get well, or whether you're in the street and you need to do something better with your life to take care of your family. Now I'm married. We bought a house. We have 2 more children, and I have a stepson. We're just one big old family. Having the people at the Goodwill supporting me, it increased my confidence in myself. You gotta just find your inner fire and run with it. Don't let yourself hold you back, and don't let other people hold you back.
I love you. I love you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment.
He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching.
That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side. even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
And we are back with Style with Trish. I have my wonderful, we having such a good time. Some of the background conversations we wish you could share with y'all, but a lot of them not. But Marlo brought up a very good point about, you share it, Marlo, what you were saying right when we went into break about befriending your children.
Yes. So when it comes to both of my children, my 29-year-old daughter, Brittany, and then my
29?
She will be 30 this year. This is a landmark year. OJ turned 21, my husband turned 50, and Brittany turned 29.
Wow.
No, she turns 30, I'm sorry. So they have like big stuff. We done had two. Right. I got one more to go. Because my husband and my son have the same birthday as well.
Okay.
It was a mess. I was so broke. Oh my goodness.
She said she's so broke.
So Brittany and OJ, we date once a month.
Okay.
So we have places all throughout Atlanta. We try not to hit the same restaurant. We go and, just have lunch or whatever. And I let them talk about whatever. And I'm not mom at that moment. They don't call me Marlo, and they know my boundaries. Right. But my children have always been able to talk to me. Straight, no chaser. They have always been able to, because I would rather you talk to me. That's right. And I love you. I love you because I had you. I love you I love you deep. And I'm going to give you good sound advice. I'm not going to try to hide stuff from you. Well, I'm angry. Nope. Yeah. Because if even like we were talking about earlier, jealousy is crueler than a grave. It sure is. Might tell a friend, well, I'm dealing with whatever. Somebody might give them bad advice because of jealousy. Right. But mommy loves you. And I sit there and I listen to them. Relationship, whether it be about college, whether it be about a job, whether it be about, church and what's currently going on with the state of church and the millennials. I want to hear what they got to say. Right. Because I'm going to give you good sound advice, and I'm not going to lie to you. So, yes, I am my children's best friend. And some people look at that like, well, that's just not right. I'm not my child's friend. I'm their whatever. You run your house your way. Right. What works for you what works for you is for you. I want them to always know they can come to me. And this is forever.
Yeah. What about you, Lori? How do you feel about, well, we already know your baby is, y'all thick as thieves, but what is your opinion on people who have objection to that?
I really don't care what other people say.
I knew she was going to say
I mean, I don't, because what works in my house works in my house.
Right.
You have to do what works with your house and your children. Maybe you can't be your friend's children. Maybe your child may need a little bit more stern, a heavier hand, where you can't be a friend and an authoritarian, at the same time. My house, I'm giggling because this is what we're going to do until I'm no longer here.
That's right.
I love my daughter. Yeah. And when I had her, I knew she wasn't going to stay a child. I was raising her to be an adult, and I was raising her to always be in my life. And so I never wanted to have this grip on her to where she felt as though I was a person that she had to hide stuff from. Yeah. You knew me as mommy. Yeah. But now I'm still mommy, but now I'm getting ready to let you into my life as Lori. Yeah. Because I'm not just mommy, I'm a woman. I was a woman first. Yeah. So now I need to introduce you and bring you into this life of you being a woman. And that's the only way that I can, this rite of passage. Right. So, and if I hold things back from her that I've experienced, then I'm doing her an injustice. Right. So now we have to bring this relationship into not mommy-daughter, but friend-friend.
Yeah.
And it's the trust factor for me. Like my daughters they were on spring break this week, and she's moping around this morning. It's like, Mommy, I don't want to go back. I want to stay here with you. And I know even though we have the attachment, and she's learning to detach, I will never get tired of hearing that. Mommy, I would prefer to be with you, And so for me, that's a friendship. You know, it's not, when your kid prefers to be around you, that's first of all, it's a blessing.
That is a blessing.
It's a blessing.
Major.
But having those candid conversations, that we may not necessarily had from our parents. I know my mom has often said, you know, I did all I knew how.
Right.
I did all I knew how. If I could have given you guys more or done more for you guys, I would have. But I gave all I could give. She said, now if there was a deficit with you, you take that. Unwarped now, you take that and you pour that into your child. But take the good stuff that I gave you and add that in. You will be a better parent than I was. And that's how you grow and get better with each generation. But
wow,
it's just it's something about we're tough with our girls. And you have a daughter too. We're tougher being the same sex with our girls. But Marlo, how different was it for you? Or is it because listen, I get it, because if I had a son, he wouldn't be good for nobody. Yes, I said it.
And he looked like me too.
My God.
But for you,
He wouldn't.
And that
She
thing,
up to that little hussy.
and look,
It would be bad.
and don't mess around and have him look like you.
yes, because he does.
And and my daughter, she brought it to my attention. You know, Brittany, I promise, the sun sets and shines and goes down with her. I truly love my daughter.
Yeah.
My baby, I have two only children. Like, she was the only child for 9 years.
Yeah.
And then here comes OJ. And then, you know, that difference. So both of them are rotten. And I look, I can't do nothing about it now. They grown. But they have this attachment and this hold on me. But that boy, and let me tell you why it's so bad. Because I talked about my mom and my brother. I did. My mama said, you my last, but you ain't my baby.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
My brother Don, whom I love him so much. And everybody in my family, all of our siblings know that is her baby.
Wow.
I was the youngest, but my daddy, but you know what? I was equally spoiled by both of them.
Right.
But that OJ,
Yeah.
my
You can
baby,
tell.
I mean, oh, Jesus. Even saying his name, I just light up. That's just,
Beaming.
yeah. And so, you know, whoever he is going to be with, he marries. I told my husband yesterday, I said, I want her to be like me. And he cracks up. I said, that better be a good laugh. You know, so he just said, yeah, babe, you that deal, you know. So I said, I mean, I got my issues. Who don't?
Right.
But somebody to genuinely love you and loyal, I am loyal to a fault. I am loyal
Girl, me
to
too.
folks that done almost buried me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because I loved so hard, because it was opposite. You know what I'm saying? But my son, he is identical to me. So I be trying to deprogram him in areas
that you know it need tweaking. And you know, that's the important. That's the hardest part of parenting, because I think I saw someone said it, or it was. I know it was. I don't even remember where I saw it, but it was saying the hardest part of parenting is dealing with the parts of them that are you.
that are you.
My God.
That's tough. That's tough. And it's like I get sort of agitated because Indy she's so hard on herself. But then let Trish make a mistake. Ooh,
wow.
I show out. And I'm showing out on myself. So I'm like, I'm seeing evidence of how I am with me through her. Yeah. And I didn't initially recognize it in me. So seeing all of that with her going off to college and walking in her independence, her newfound independence, it's been kind of eye-opening, but it's also been self-reflecting. So let's talk about, once our babies are off to college, we still struggle, because Marlo told me, she said, even when she comes home for spring break, or she comes home for Christmas and have to go back, you're going to still feel almost a little bit of when you first left her, and that's true. I walk past her room and smell her scent, and I'm just like, oh, I miss my baby. It's just little things. But we're busy women. It's not like we sitting at home and twiddling our thumbs and just go to work and come home, and we have lives. Yeah. But it's still a whole. You know what I mean? So what are some of the things that you suggest that a woman in your particular same situation, a single mom with an only child, they're off to school, what would you suggest, maybe activities or functions or whatever, that they could do to help fill that void?
Okay, so for me, God started having me unwind before she left. Because it was going to be a problem. And I knew that. I saw it coming. And so God started making me go and do things that I would normally do because it this is a fun.
Oh, Lord.
So my daughter, people think that I'm this bold personality, and I'm actually an introvert, which is really, people don't believe me when I say it, but I would sit in the house and look at the wall and be perfectly fine.
Fine, honey.
Fine. And
Yes.
so my daughter, before she went to school, she put this little thing on Facebook saying that she's taking interviews for French people to be my friend. And I said, well, wait. I don't know if I want them, and let me choose these people. But it's funny because she knew that it was going to be a problem. It's you have to listen to the joke. The truth in the joke.
That's the truth.
And
it may have been a concern of hers.
It was a big concern because she told me, she said, Mommy, I'm really scared for me to leave you because I've always been here for you. And so who are you going to talk to when I'm gone? And so and she told me not too long ago, I was really afraid. My daughter was really afraid, that I wouldn't be okay.
Yeah. And why do they have that, though?
Because I'm like that with her. And so when you have the same kind of heart and the same kind of, you feel each other and, things like that. So actually, now that she's gone, I'm fine. Because I started going on nature walks. And I used to tell people all the time, oh, I'm not an outdoors person. Well, absolutely, I am. I didn't know that. I did not know that. And, even when it comes to stuff, which is a funny story, another funny story, I would make spaghetti all the time. And because she loves spaghetti. And she would just eat it and eat it and eat it and things, and I would go in the kitchen and make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah. See, that's me.
And I didn't realize, because I've always lived with somebody. I went from my mother's house to my husband's house to when we got separated. I had this child, and so now it's she and I, and now I'm raising this child. So I never lived alone until she went to college.
Okay.
So this was like, I was tightly wound with somebody always being around me. So when she left, and I would make spaghetti or whatever like that, and I realized it was spoiling. Do you know I don't like spaghetti? I don't even like noodles. I don't like red sauce. And it's amazing.
Now that's funny.
It's amazing what you won't know about yourself unless you spend enough time with yourself.
Come on now,
so that you can know what it is you like.
Yes.
Even how you take care of yourself. I'm having a bad day. What do I do for Lori to make Lori have a better day? What do I cook for Lori?
We talked about that a couple weeks ago on self-love. If you can't stand to be with you, how you expect somebody else to be with you? So, and
you take a nap so you can get away from yourself.
I love
it. But that's what God did. I started reaching out for other people, but God was like shutting those relationships down because it wasn't a time for me to start reaching out for other people. God was trying to make me know me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I actually really like me. And if I wasn't me, I would want to be my friend.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So I really spent time with myself. I started doing things that I wouldn't normally do because I don't like going outside. So it's a chore for me to get myself ready to go outside to meet new people. It's hard. Like, oh my God, I got to smile at this lady. I have to talk to this lady. But guess what? When I smiled at that lady and I talked to that lady, I liked that lady.
Yeah. You extended yourself.
Yes. Yeah. And so I realized that I'm not as introverted as I thought I was. It was an adopted thing.
Yeah.
I actually love people and I love their idiosyncrasies and the things about them. So I was like, well, who was this person all this time that I was nurturing and building upon, and it's not even me anymore.
It was, because she was your focus. That she was your focus.
She was your focus. And it was all a lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my kids just, like you said earlier, the running around and we got to do this. We got to take them to practice. We got to do this. We got to. I forgot who Marlo was. As much as I do.
Yeah.
I sing. Am I the artist? Am I the wife? Am I the mother? Who am I? And I am. I'm good when I'm just. Ain't nothing going on this morning. I slept till Brittany had to come, and we had to do some things with her. But I mean, I like peace. I just like to, But you do. You don't know who you are until you just start realizing. Okay, I do like that. Well, I'm gonna try that.
So, do you guys think that is? We have a few minutes left, and I wanted you to share what you have coming up. But do you guys think that has something to do with the fear of becoming an empty nester, because now you have to figure out, who am I now? I'm still mom. We're gonna always be mom, but we're not the hands-on mom. So, and that was something that I had to come to realization with really on several different levels. Not only am I empty nester, I don't have any more young children, so that means I'm getting older. Then who am I? Outside of mom. And I think that had a piece, and I'm still dealing with that stuff. That had a piece, and that was attachment to, now I have no more. I really thought in the back of my mind, because you always hear people, reality, you like, whoa, wait a minute, slow down. Let's go back to when you're 5. Yeah. So that's something that I'm still having to struggle with. I really want to bring you guys back another time so we can continue the conversation, because I really think it's something and a topic that we do have to and need to explore and talk about, and let other women know it's not just you. But Marlo, share with us, and I want you to, in the end, I want you to leave us with some encouraging words. But Marlo, share with us, because Marlo do a lot. Y'all think I do a lot. She do a lot. But share with us some of the ventures, and you have a wonderful conference coming up.
Yes, this time next week. It's actually Friday, March 29th and 30th. It's called the Raw Conference, Reaching All Women. And God gave me that conference, the idea in 2017. And he's like, you know what? The men are always sparingly in church.
Yeah.
It's a handful. I don't care where you go all over the world.
Yeah.
It's just a handful of men.
Yeah.
He said, but the women are growing weary. What are we about to do for these women who are growing weary? And, just all this stuff. And I was like, no. I'm only one person, God. I'm doing this, that, and he said, yeah, I need for you to connect. And I'm a bridge. I have connected so many women together in so many different walks of life. And I know I play my position. I know what I'm supposed to do. And so God said, I need for you to bring these women in from all walks of life. They don't know each other until they come together. And then after that, they're connected. He said, I want that to now, this is another part of your destiny. So reaching our women is just that. And I don't charge for the conference. How can you reach our women?
With a fee.
With a fee. I mean, I want homeless women. I want women straight off the pole there. I want women who are in, situations, and I wouldn't ask them for a thing. I'm praying that I never have to, monetize this. I don't ever want to have to put a fee on there. Me and Guy got it. That's my, contribution back to this earth. And so next week, the 29th and 30th, that's what we're doing. We're going in. Next Friday, it starts at 7 p.m. intercessory prayer at 6:30. Saturday, we're coming back 10 a.m. in the morning, and we're ending it out. And I'm praying that I can get all women from everywhere. It's 37 Frank Cook Road, Noonan, Georgia, at the Unveiling Word Ministries with Apostles Wayne and Deborah Shepherd. I love them so much, and they have been so great to us. So, ladies and men, basically, it's for everybody. It's called Reaching All Women, but it's reaching everybody. Who has a mind to come. So. I pray y'all can come.
Well, congratulations on that. And I know where your heart is. We know, everyone who knows Marlo know where her. And if y'all don't know, I call her Gospel's Diana Ross. We'll talk about that next time she come on.
That's so sweet. I love you, Trish.
But Lori, I want you to leave us with just some encouraging words, and it can be on any platform. It doesn't necessarily have to be on this particular topic, but just encourage our women and encourage our ladies just to be the best us we can be.
Well, ladies, I know that we come from different walks of life. We have so much going on. It's easy to lose who you are when you're so many things to other people. And so what I would admonish you to do, I know it helped me a lot, is to actually sit with yourself and actually look within, because, and I would say not just in this one time, this is something that you need to do a retrospective and an introspective thing, looking on the inside of you, so you can really find out who you really are, so that when things come, when the winds blow, it won't knock you down, because you know what it is you're truly standing on. Have a relationship with God. If you don't know what you are standing for, you'll fall for anything.
Right.
And don't move off of those things, because you'll actually end up hating yourself in the long run when you know that you were doing something that took you outside of who you really were. So once you find out who you really are, stand on that thing and don't move, really anchor down in who you are, because you're beautifully you, and there is no one like you on the earth. And so when you're being you, can't nobody else take your position. And that's it. I was telling my daughter, I'm not taking applications for anybody to be me, because if I'm being me, the position is full.
It's filled.
So I would want you to be you, because you are beautifully made in God's image, and there's no other gem like you on this earth. So definitely look on the inside of you, so that you can become that jewel that God made you. He'll polish it up.
Amen. See, I mean, we have so many great guests on this show. They will definitely be back, because I'm just going to create some stuff for us to come back and just for us to talk about. Yes. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. This has been amazing and also therapeutic for me, because it comes at a perfect time, because my child go back to school Monday. So it is really feeding my heart and doing something specifically for me. So thank you, ladies, so much for helping me and talking to me. Guys, same time, same place. As I always say, love isn't love unless you give it away. So give some love away. Love you guys. See you next week.